What is it that makes us who we are? What defines us as a person? Is it our nature or something we learn that determines who we are? And are we who we think we are, or are we who people perceive us to be? Does it matter? I mean, who cares? Several months ago, I attended my high school graduation, and I couldn't help but notice that the essential thing that made each person who they are was still there. As I talked to person after person, I was struck how the themness, the core thing that made them them, had not seemed to change. I'm not sure I can define it either. It's very elusive, difficult to define, and difficult to describe. I can describe the phenomena easily enough, but putting my finger on what makes up their fundamental character was very difficult. And it wasn't the same for each person. For some, it was voice. For others, it was how they constructed their sentences. For others, it was how they interacted with me and with others. Maybe it's something subconscious that I'm not in touch with, like the way they smell or some kind of subtle clue or transmission. In any event, I was drawn to these people and felt a comfortable, warm familiarity when I was with them. I was happy to be in their presence. Hi, I'm Tim Rose, and this is the Tim Tunes Podcast. In this episode, we're back to our original format. We'll listen to 3 songs about character and what it is that makes us who we are. We'll look at a song about one of my defining characteristics, a song about an old character in my life, and finally, a song about what makes us us. So, here we go. I was sitting around with Marcy, my wife, when I told her the title of the new song I was working on, Don't Hate Me for Being Happy. She looks at me and says, "Sounds like our marriage." Well, I laughed as I think she was making a joke, but this is a general description of one of my basic characteristics. I'm a glass half full kind of guy. I recognize this fact and tend to make friends with glass half empty types. I think there must be some kind of a natural instinct to seek these people out, so I don't go off the deep end. I do have some other glass half full friends, and I cherish their company. But I do recognize the value of my less than half full friends, and I frequently seek their wisdom and guidance. I don't know if this happiness characteristic is a product of genetics or how I was raised. I do remember my mom saying, if you can't say something nice about someone, don't say anything at all. A Southern sentiment if ever there was one. I just generally have a positive outlook on things. When I started writing this song, I thought it was going to be a light and easy sort of little ballad. I decided to write a jazzy little tune using jazz chords and chord substitution. I started off with a very basic chopping wood type of guitar part. This little walking up line at the end of the phrase has become kind of the hook of the piece. I really like the bridge where I have this descending line that goes back and forth from major 7 chords to minor 7th chords. Listen for this section when I sing, "Some people try to bring me down," right after the instrumental verse. The instrumental verse features a flugelhorn instrument patch. I tried a trumpet, but the flugelhorn isn't as brash as the trumpet and delivers the mellow sound I was looking for. I had written the entire song out in a 4/4 time signature, but as I started writing the melody out for the flugelhorn solo, I realized that the song was really in 12/8. 12/8 lets me use a triplet feel throughout. This gives the whole piece much more of a swing feel. So, I rewrote the entire piece in 12/8 time. I like 12/8 time. It really lets me swing the piece without having to put in triplets everywhere. I counted out like 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. So you can get the feel just from the counting. I also use this time signature for the song Lazy Love, which you can hear in Season 1, Episode 7, Romantic Love. To really jazz it up, I used a drum set that uses brushes, and I used a Rhodes piano sound with a little bit of tremolo for the piano sound. I went around and around with the melody, finally settling on a baritone register. I think this might have contributed to the outcome. When I listen to the song, it sounds like I'm sad about being happy, or at least sad about people not liking that I'm happy. Anyway, here's the song, written, recorded in February 2023 in my home studio in Chelmsford, Massachusetts. Enjoy. Don't hate me for being happy. It's just the way that I am. I was born this way, so just go away. Don't disturb my delusion, my friend. You can hate me for being a slob, or for getting a date, or 2 or 3 or 4 or more. Or you can hate me for being a snob. I mean, what else are friends for? 3, 2, but don't hate me for being happy. It's just the way that I am. I was born this way, so just go away. Don't disturb my delusion, my friend. Some people like to drink coffee, and some people like to drink tea. Some say I'm sappy for being so happy. What would it take to make them leave me be? Sometimes people try to bring me down by mentioning current events. I just la-la in my head, and that goes something like this. Did you see Putin? La 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 la. I heard Trump. La 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 la. So Biden said, la 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 la. Don't hate me for being happy. It's just the way that I am. I was born this way, so just go away. I get sad sometimes, but not today. What the heck do you care anyway? Please don't hate me for being happy. I had the honor of getting to know my great-grandfather when I was very young. He was retired by the time I was around him and was sick most of the time. My big papa, as we used to call him, was a retired railroad worker and union organizer. He spent much of his career traveling around the country organizing the Carmen's Union. This union was for the people who manufactured the passenger and sleeper train cars, as opposed to people who rode and worked on the trains. He was also renowned for his drinking and driving and his stubborn streak. After totaling his car on a telephone pole, he told the police to just turn it over and he would drive it home. When I met him, he was always sitting in his chair, reading the paper or watching TV or watching us play on the floor in front of him. As mentioned in the song, we really did sit out on the front porch and talk and watch the world go by. This song is based on my experience as a child and on my perspective as an adult. This song is a mashup of two different recordings made sometime in the late 90s or early 2000s. Originally recorded on my TAC 8-track, the two different versions were then digitized and mixed together around 2003. You may notice a few variations in the melody here and there. Here is Man That Nobody Owned.
Never have thought I'd be sitting here singing about an old man I knew 20 years ago. But he taught me how to be my own man, how to chase my dreams and not to let them go. He was a man that nobody owned. He was a man that nobody owned. He was a little bit crazy and a little overblown. He was a man that nobody owned. Sit out on the front porch in the old swing. He'd drink his beer and he'd feel bumps on my head. He'd say, Tim, you're gonna grow up stubborn, just like your old pawpaw. And they're the few words I recall that he said. He was a man that nobody owned. He was a man that nobody owned. He was a little bit crazy and a little overblown. He was a man that nobody owned. A fighter, made a union for the carmen on the train, fighting for the good life for his fellow man. Well, he rode those rails from Florida to Maine, and he was a man that nobody owned. He was a man that nobody owned. He was a little overblown. He was a man that nobody owned. He was a man that nobody owned.
I've written quite a few songs trying to describe different people I've known over my life. Some of my best songs are about this. Dottie Lou, Alma May, Catbird, Fallen Angel. By my count, about a quarter of my songs are based around unique aspects of a person's character. While I have descriptions of people in my songs, they never really describe a person completely. You couldn't recognize that person based on my description. There really is no substitute for being in the actual presence of a person. Maybe it was because my high school reunion was the first big event I went to after COVID, and I was especially attuned to other people. But whatever the reason, it compelled me to write the next song titled The You of You. So I've abandoned the attempt to understand what's going on, and instead I focused on the feelings and the joy of being with those old familiar souls. When I set about writing this song, it only took me about a half an hour to create the essential core of the song. I'd been thinking about it for several days, and when I finally put pen to paper, or rather typed it into my computer, it just sort of all came rushing out of me. In fact, this song inspired the topic for this podcast. After I made my initial pass at writing this song, the song Don't Hate Me popped into my head and demanded my attention. So, both Don't Hate Me and The You of You were written and recorded in the time since my last podcast. I feel like I may have rushed them a bit. Let me know what you think. This song is a very straightforward celebration of whatever that thing that makes you, you is. Recorded in the beginning of March 2023 in my home studio in Chelmsford, Massachusetts, here is The You of You.
It's the you of you that I'm talking to, the you that makes you you. It never goes away, never strays, no matter what you do. Maybe it's your soul, I don't know. It's probably just the way that you're made. It's the kind of thing that makes you whole and moves you along your way. It's the you of you, yeah, that's who I'm talking to. The you that makes you you. It always stays and never goes away, no matter what you do. Doesn't matter how long since we last met, a part of you stays the same. Doesn't matter should we agree or not, because the core of you remains. It's the you of you that makes you you, the you of you that I see. It's the you of you that sets you above and helps me to be me. In the way you speak and the way you move, in the way that you hold your head. It's how you feel as you share your heart with every single word that you said. Doesn't matter if you're wrinkled and gray, time doesn't seem to pass. I see you, I know you, and and I know I always will. I guess that's why I love you still. It's the you of you. There's no hiding. It's the you of you. I see you through and through, and I hope to heaven that you never change. The you of you, that's you. It's not like you can change it after all. The you of you, that's you. The you of you, that's you.
It looks like we've wrung those rags and squeezed out all of the character they have to offer. There you have it. Please feel free to send me comments on this episode via Facebook at the Tim Tunes Podcast group, or email me at timtunespodcast@gmail.com. Or, if you're a Patreon subscriber, you can send me messages via Patreon. Speaking of Patreon, thanks so much to all my donors. It means the world to me and helps keep the lights on and the podcast going. If you'd like to donate, you can do so at my Patreon site at patreon.com/timtunes. Or you can send a donation to PayPal at Rimtoes. It's an anagram of Tim Rose. You'll figure it out. I'd like to give a special shout out to David Press for his recent donation. Thanks, David. Your support really means a lot to me. If you can't donate, I get it. Times are hard. You can also help out the podcast by writing a review on whatever podcast tool you use or by liking us on Facebook or iTunes. That'll go a long way towards increasing my reach. Also, you can support the show just by listening to some of my songs on your favorite music streaming service. However you choose to support the show, I appreciate you. Thanks for listening. Adios until next time.
Do not hide in stoic solitude.